Trigger is Netflix's newest Korean crime drama, and it's one of the boldest concepts I've seen in a while. South Korea is a country where gun crime is almost non-existent, but this show flips that reality on its head. Suddenly guns are everywhere, in the hands of civilians, criminals, even ordinary people, pushed to the edge. The result is chaos, and at the heart of that chaos we have the two leads, Detective Lee Do, played by Kim Nam-gil, and Moonbaek, played by Kim Yong-kwang. What makes Trigger such a gripping show? From the filmmaking, the performances, the themes, and finally my own take on why I think it's worth watching. The premise and themes in the show. The idea is very thought-provoking. What happens when a society with no history of widespread gun violence suddenly becomes an arms flood? Trigger doesn't just give us action for the sake of it. It uses this scenario to explore fear, desperation, and the darker side of human nature. Ordinary people pushed into extraordinary circumstances, and the show keeps asking, when the pressure gets too high, what is the breaking point? Do you protect? Do you destroy? Or do you simply survive? There's a strong social mirror. Korean dramas, they often go really hard on these topics that are quite serious and dark, but I think they're really great topics to discuss. Trigger touches on inequality, mental health, and the cracks in society, reminding us that violence isn't just about weapons, it's about the systems that fail people in the first place. They do a very good job at showing just how dangerous the guns are. The beginning scene kind of jolts you awake, and you realize what kind of show you're watching. The use of guns, when not in Lee Do's hands, is a very messy and violent scene. So it really makes you think about how dangerous these weapons are in the wrong hands. The direction and style. We get explosive action set pieces contrasted with quiet, tension-filled conversations. This is where the real battles happen. Visually, the show has a very clean look, controlled framing, it's very stylish, perfect for a crime drama. It's realistic, so everything is very relatable, but throws in very cool shots and fancy camera work. Sometimes it's very still shots, clinical and clean, and then can be very chaotic with interesting angles and speed of the camera work. This helps the story reflecting the order that is collapsing, while the characters desperately try to impose control. The action is shot very well, high-level camera work that doesn't move the camera around too much. It has nice wide shots so you can see just how well the star, Nam-gil, moves around and how skilled he is. The use of guns in the show is a big topic to discuss. The show, being an action-based show, does have elements of glamour. Detective Lee Do is a highly skilled ex-military army soldier who handles all the weapons so well, and there are very cool creative gunfights. They feel raw and not overproduced. You can tell it's a big budget Netflix series, but it still keeps a grounded realism to fit that crime drama. I didn't know what to expect with this show. I didn't even watch the trailer. I turned it on based on the image on Netflix. When I saw the actor Nam-gil, I liked the way he looked, the look in his eyes, his mannerisms. He reminds me of Donnie Yen slightly. And also I watched him in the other Korean show, The Priest, which is a fun, entertaining show. This show is quite shocking. The violence with the shootings, when you watch it, you could say it's a very topical subject, and you could say that it's quite good to have a show like this that actually displays what it's like in the real world, how it affects people and their lives. Kim Nam-gil as Lee Do brings both strength and vulnerability. He's a former military sniper turned detective, so he has very high level skills, but his character is carrying a lot of guilt and trauma, and it's his trauma that is giving him a high moral compass that keeps getting tested. His character is not cheesy either. He doesn't just like guns just for the sake of it. He has a traumatic backstory that you get to explore later, and it's completely believable and sad, and it really backs up why his character is the way he is. Nam-gil plays this balance beautifully. He's so still, and I love actors like this. His stillness says just as much as his outbursts, and you can feel the weight of every decision that he makes in his face. On the other side you have Kim Young-kwon as Moonbaek. Great casting for the bad guy. He is fascinating to watch. He comes in at the start, but he's not what he seems. His character then starts to grow as the show reveals who he is. He could have been just another slick villain, but instead his performance is so layered, so well done. He's intelligent, charming at times, terrifying at others. You never quite know which version of him you're going to get, and that unpredictability, that shift between warmth and menace, is what makes his performance so exciting to watch.
아주 진지하게 내가 새로운 파트너를 찾는데 사람이 많으면 그 총으로 날 쏘는 사람 선착순 한 명? 쏴.
우리가 병신 같지? 어? 병신 같아? 빨로 마!
빨리 쏴.
씨발 새끼가 진짜 내 개새끼야!
Together, Lee-do and Moonbaek are not just hero versus villain. They represent two ways of facing a broken society, one clinging to justice, the other bending the chaos to his will. Why the show stands out, what sets Trigger apart from other crime dramas, is that it's not just about catching the bad guy, it's about asking bigger questions, and it does that successfully. I really only watched it for an easy action show to binge, but it doesn't let you do that. The topics are too serious, the characters are too interesting. You feel for all the side characters, they really build up the story well. The topic of what guns mean in a culture where they've never been normalized, what happens to human nature when power shifts overnight. It's that mix of thought-provoking themes and intense action that makes the show so addictive. For me, it's the little things that when you watch the show, over 10 episodes, you get to enter this world. The show is so well made. I think Kim Young-kwon as Moonbaek, as the bad guy, in such a progression along the way over the course of many episodes. It's amazing to watch him changing as he gets more and more power. His character is so big, and he's such a great performer that he could steal the show. But what Nam-joo does as Lee-do, and does so well, is the complete contrast to Moonbaek. He's the complete opposite. He keeps everything in so much, but you can see there's so much he's carrying inside. You can't even describe it or put your finger on it. He's just so interesting to watch, you can't take your eyes off him. And the great thing about his character is it also evolves during the show. He's getting pushed so far in the show that he starts to really break out. And it's so impressive for him as an actor. He must have had a lot of training in using the weapons. He's so believable as this highly skilled ex-military soldier, because he's the only one in the show who's technically the skilled soldier. He runs so smoothly, carrying all the different rifles. The camera stays on him, it doesn't cut away. There's lots of long shots. So you see him doing everything, and he moves so well. There's a bunch of side characters and side stories that add to the show, displaying how much chaos can happen when these normal people being pushed too far, what they're capable of. It gets very chaotic, and like all Korean dramas, it gets very chaotic, and like all Korean dramas, it's very emotional, very sad. It's a good solid 10 episodes that allows you to really follow Lee-do in this investigation. It's a good crime show where you get to watch the detective work things out along the way, and at the same time witness everything that he's going through.
죽이는 건 잘하는 거잖아요.
소장님 때문에 전 제 삶을 지키고 살고 있잖아요.
So if you're looking for a show that has lots of action, tension, and ideas that stick with you long after the credits roll, then Trigger is absolutely worth your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.